The topics we discuss in this podcast are of a sensitive nature, and my sister and I navigate these topics with a little bit of sarcasm and dark humor. But rest assured, we understand the gravity of these cases and what the victims and their families have been through, and we have the utmost respect for them. Listeners' discretion is advised. What's up, True Crime World? You are tuning in to Luminol on the Wall.
And I'm Becky, and joining me always is my sister Bevy.
That's right. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to our True Crime podcast.
Woohoo.
So, Becky was sick this week, and she's got a little dry spot in her throat, so I'm going to be reading this case. So, with that, shall we just get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so this case is about a young man named Mark Waugh. He grew up in Great Falls, Virginia, and as he matured, he kind of became the type of guy to make everyone feel welcome. He always wanted to make other people smile, and if you didn't smile, it surely became his main priority to do so. He just wanted to make everybody's day a little bit better.
We need those people in the world, Bev.
We do need those people in the world. There's a shortage of them, I feel.
Absolutely there are.
So, yeah, he was like very kind, but he was also goofy. So he's this kind, goofy, fun-loving type of dude. And unlike some adolescents' kids, he took his education very seriously despite being this kind of goofy, unique human.
Wow.
So he was really actually quite intellectual and clearly had a lot going on for him. And in high school, he met Rahul Gupta, and they became quick friends. They were both high-achieving students and were both very ambitious, so they had a lot in common. After high school, both of these boys would eventually get accepted into Georgetown.
Whoa.
Yeah. However, before they ended up going to Georgetown, or at least before Mark went to Georgetown, he actually went to James Madison University for his undergrad.
Right.
And during his freshman year at JMU, he was a novice national championship for debate.
Damn, that is a skilled debate. That would help me in my life if I was better at that.
That would also help me.
Yeah, for sure.
In my relationship. Craig is a master debater.
A master debater?
Yeah, he was actually on the debate team too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was on the debate team. So as you can see...
Oh, this explains a lot.
I know. I'm never winning any arguments in my house.
It's like when you have to make a point when you're in either an argument or, you know, something maybe a little bit more heated or debatey-like. It's like all my points go out the window. And I'm like,
start stuttering. Yeah.
Don't remember anything.
Yeah. So Craig was good at it. And he had won 5 tournaments at his time at JMU and had graduated with the most wins in debate history for JMU.
Oh, wow.
His debate team was ranked highest when Mark was on the team than any other time.
I bet his team just loved him.
Right? Who doesn't like winning? So after Mark gets his undergrad, he went and spent a little time in Korea teaching English, but eventually he came back to attend law school at Georgetown.
Ah.
So this is where he is now reunited once again with his good friend Rahul.
Amazing.
Who at the time was actually a biomedical engineer at Georgetown, and he had aspirations of becoming a doctor. So again, we see like the high ambition and intellectual side of both of these men.
No wonder they're friends.
No wonder. Like, I don't want to be with no dimwit.
You're only an engineer?
Can't be friends. Friends off. Loser. So, in 2012, when Rahul was attending Georgetown, he had also met his then girlfriend, Taylor Gould.
Ooh.
And once Rahul and Taylor graduated, Taylor had actually landed a job as a physics researcher for the FDA. And they moved in together into a trendy little neighborhood in an upscale high-rise building on the 16th floor.
Damn, they're all so smart. A physics researcher?
Wild.
Wow.
And they live in an upscale high-rise building. One, not my vibe. I don't think I'd want to live that high up. Would you?
Or are you scared?
Yeah, I would be scared.
I lived on an 8th floor apartment once.
Oh, that's true.
And it was really fun, actually. Once I slept on the balcony.
Why would you sleep on a balcony?
Because one, it was extremely hot in that apartment in the summertime. And two, it was cool. Set up like a little bed. It was great. It was also concrete all the way around. So no one could see in.
Oh, that's actually nice. Okay, I was thinking like it had one of those metal, the metal railings that have gaps in between every single red metal post.
Oh, yeah. No, it was all concrete, so it felt like a cute little cubicle.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that, actually.
I'd recommend it.
Balcony sleeping.
Yeah.
Sure. It's kind of like setting up a tent in your backyard. Apartment style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I ain't got no backyard.
Yeah, you're like, I'll make do with what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rahul and Taylor have graduated Georgetown. They are living in this upscale little neighborhood on a high-rise building. However, their life wasn't completely perfect together. There was actually some cracks forming in their relationship already.
They haven't even been together that long.
Yeah, they weren't even together very long. I think at this point it was about approximately a year that they had been together. So really not a long time. And one of the issues that friends noted in some of police investigations that happened later on was that Taylor was not satisfied sexually by Rahul.
Oh.
So she ended up finding other outlets to kind of satisfy her flirtatious and sexual needs. And she would flirt with Rahul's friends.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this kind of caused some jealousy.
No
in
kidding.
Rahul. Yeah, it's totally inappropriate too. It's just a little uncomfortable. And that's exactly what it was actually for Rahul's friends. Like, they were uncomfortable by this.
Yeah, they're like, my buddy's girlfriend is flirting with me. What the hell?
Awkward.
Yeah. Ugh.
Terrible. So there's some cracks in their relationship. However, that didn't really stop them from staying committed to each other in this relationship. They were still together when they decided to celebrate Rahul's birthday on October 13th, 2013.
Ooh.
Yes, so Rahul was celebrating his 24th birthday, and he wanted to go out with friends to celebrate. The night started off with Rahul and Taylor going out to get a steak dinner, and then they decided to meet up with Rahul's two friends, Mark Waugh and Josh White, at a bar in the DuPont Circle. The group had a bunch of drinks at the bar, and then they decided to kind of go bar hopping. And when they went to the second bar, they had some more drinks. And eventually, throughout the night, the group kind of broke off into pairs, with Rahul and Josh going outside to smoke some weed, and Taylor and Mark staying inside to chat. And when the group splits up, Josh tells Rahul that his girlfriend, Taylor, has been flirting with him throughout the night, and he thought that Rahul should know.
That's a good friend.
Good friend, but
as
also
awkward as it can be.
We hear this theme of Taylor flirting come up once again, right?
Causing problems.
What's she
doing? Nothing good comes from that.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing.
And you know what, Bev? We've all been at a bar. I've seen friends that have done that.
Yeah.
And when alcohol's involved, it's like nothing good will come from it regardless. But you add alcohol in the mix, and it's like, yoza.
Yeah, like problems. Things get worse. Things, like, all
emotions
situations kind of get heightened. Yeah, exactly. Ooh. So not a good time to be flirting with his friends.
Naughty.
I mean, not that it's ever a good time, but, like, definitely not on his birthday, and definitely not when drinks are involved. Just kind of stupid.
Party foul.
Party foul. So something that is interesting, though, is that back in the bar where Taylor and Mark are, Taylor is telling Mark that Josh was actually flirting with her and that it was making her feel really uncomfortable because, quote unquote, like her boyfriend was right there with them. And yeah, like she's like, my boyfriend's right there. You're flirting with me. This is weird.
Yeah, like how dare you do that to your friend?
Yeah. But what's interesting, though, is that we have Taylor saying this about Josh, but it came out later that Josh had actually said to investigators that he called Taylor out for flirting with him. And he had said, what's the deal? Like, you're a little flirtatious.
Yeah, he's like, this is my friend. Like, why would you do this?
Yeah. And then we have him going out and like telling Rahul that this is happening. And something that makes me feel like Josh's account of what happened is actually more accurate is that if, in fact, he did call Taylor out for flirting with him, and then he goes out with Rahul, maybe Taylor told Mark that she was the one being flirted with to kind of cover her ass because she's been called out. She probably thinks that Josh will tell Rahul what's been happening, like that she was flirting with him. So she kind of tells Mark the exact opposite to kind of cover her tracks and maybe give her some credibility.
Yeah.
You know, maybe to Rahul. Because if Mark, in fact, does then tell Rahul that Taylor said Josh was flirting with her, then maybe like she has kind of someone backing her side of the story up.
Yeah, be like, oh, really? Well, this is what I told Mark.
Yeah, kind of thing. So that's what makes me feel like Josh was actually giving an accurate account.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so...
especially with her track record, like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, like it just truly feels like Taylor's full of shit in this moment. You know?
Yes.
So we kind of have this tension that's building in two completely opposing accounts of the flirting. And it just kind of creates this dramatic undertone throughout the whole night. Like, there might be a fight in the future, right? A couple fight, don't you think?
I mean, it has all the... it's like a perfect storm.
It is a perfect storm.
I could see it happening.
Yeah, so it doesn't explode quite yet, but like not long after these conversations happen, the group migrate to another bar, and eventually these rumors of flirting kind of come to a head.
Oof.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Of course. Like, we knew it.
Yeah.
Like, how could it not? So Mark actually tells Rahul, your friend Josh, he's making a move on your girlfriend, dude.
Oh, shit. Mark, you're getting in the middle of shit.
Yeah.
Don't be that awkward third wheel, man.
What are you doing?
Ugh.
And of course, Josh denies everything. However, this uneasiness in the dynamic, in the friend dynamic, was enough to end the celebrations. And the group parts ways. Yep. So Josh leaves on his own. Of course, he's like, fuck this. I'm out.
I ain't lying. I'm going home.
I'm not going to stay to see how this fucking plays out.
Absolutely not.
However, Rahul, Taylor, and Mark actually all end up going back to Taylor and Rahul's apartment to hang out and kind of...
like, keep the party going.
Keep the party going, exactly.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so as the trio returns to the apartment, they are seen on security footage around 2 a.m. jumping in the elevator, and it really just looks like they're happy and joking around. And so when they get back to the apartment, they continue to drink some shots of vodka, and Rahul smokes a little bit more weed.
Solid choice, yeah.
Yeah. However, around 3:30 a.m., the story kind of takes a turn for the worse. And Taylor makes a suspicious phone call to 911.
Oh, God.
So, Becky, I'm just going to have you read the dispatcher.
Okay.
And I will read what Taylor says.
Perfect.
Police?
What do you need the police for?
My friend is, he's here and I need emergency right now.
Okay, what is going on that you need the police? What is happening?
I don't know.
Okay, we need to know what assistance you need.
Rahul, what is going on right now?
What is happening with your friend?
He's not breathing, okay? And then you hear a man yell in the background and Taylor yells, I don't know.
Taylor, hello?
And then you hear in the background that Rahul says, This is fucking serious right now.
Can somebody come back to the phone? Hello?
Stop. And then we hear Rahul say, please, get the fuck off me. Don't touch me. And Taylor says, I didn't do anything wrong. And then you hear Rahul crying and saying, no. And Taylor says, I didn't do anything wrong, okay? And you just hear Rahul keep crying, and Taylor says, stop.
Taylor?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I need you to talk to me because I don't know what is going on, and all I hear is people saying to get off of me. Taylor, why did you call 911? What is going on?
Nothing. And then at this point, I think at least the dispatcher probably gets a little frustrated with the lack of information being given. And so a different dispatcher actually takes over the call.
And this dispatcher says, has anyone been drinking or using any drugs tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, who has? Everybody?
Yeah.
What have you been drinking?
Just alcohol. I don't know. I just need someone here right now.
Ma'am, they're on their way, but the way you're answering questions, something is not right. You need to tell me what is happening.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I just need someone here. There's blood everywhere.
What do you mean there is blood everywhere? What happened?
I don't know. And at this point, Taylor kind of sounds annoyed by all of the dispatcher's questions.
It's like how rude the dispatcher asks them.
Yeah. It could be that, right? And like, obviously it could be that, or maybe she truly just like has no idea what the fuck is going on. And so being asked over and over, like, what's happening, she's like, literally, like, I don't know.
And I mean, the girl has drank a lot.
Yeah.
So is everyone.
Right. So ultimately, this phone call is just overall pretty disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Taylor seems confused and uncooperative at the same time. So it's just a little off-putting. But of course, the paramedics and police are dispatched to the address because the phone call was very suspicious in nature and there is an account of blood being everywhere. So it's reasonable for them to assume that somebody is hurt.
Yeah, and this is a real emergency, not just a confused drunk lady.
Exactly. So Officer Dean Skiba was one of the first officers to arrive on scene at apartment 1601. And when the police arrive, Taylor was actually the one to answer the door. And when Skiba saw her, they noticed that she is covered in blood. And so they asked her to step outside and sit in the hallway.
Right.
And when they enter the apartment, Officer Skiba said it was like a horror scene from a movie because of how much blood was everywhere. There was blood all over the floor, all over the walls, and all over items throughout the house.
Yikes. It sounds like Taylor, maybe she was in a drunken state, confused, but like, how can you not relay that?
Yeah.
A little bit more efficiently to the 911 operator.
Yeah, I mean, she did say there was blood everywhere.
I mean, I guess, in like a really casual, oh, there's blood everywhere. Oh my God. God.
But yeah, she didn't really articulate the severity of what was happening. Oh, there's blood everywhere. Like, you could say someone's severely injured. We need assistance immediately.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, like maybe you don't know how it happened, but you know that someone's like not okay.
Yeah, exactly. So the police enter the apartment, they see the blood, and then they enter the bedroom. And they see Mark and Rahul laying beside the bed with both boys being unconscious.
What? Both of them?
Yeah, both of them. So, of course, Mark and Rahul are immediately tended to by EMS.
Mm-hmm.
And as first responders are dealing with the boys, Rahul all of a sudden comes to.
I'm alive!
I'm alive! So they move him to the bathroom, and although he's covered in blood, he actually has no injuries. However, Mark was not so lucky. And the young man actually was found to have 11 stab wounds. 11. And 6 of them were determined to have been life-threatening, while the other 5 were actually defensive wounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What did he go through?
A stabbing. No. But seriously, it's like, how did this happen? Yeah. There's 3 people in this apartment. Rahul's unconscious by the bed. Taylor's suspicious as fuck at this point, covered in blood as well. So, like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, and they all seemed in like good spirits entering the apartment, you said.
Yeah, exactly. So when police ask Rahul what happened, he answers in this intoxicated state, I found my girlfriend cheating on me with Mark, so we got into a fight and I must have killed him.
I must have done that. That's plausible.
So upon hearing this, it probes the officers to arrest Rahul and take him to the station.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, they also decide to take Taylor in for questioning.
Yeah, like, let's get to the freaking bottom of this.
Exactly. So, oddly enough, on the way to the police station, Rahul recants his confession. And he tells officers that he was really drunk and high and that he'd only told the officers that story to protect his girlfriend.
For, like, protect her from what?
Well, exactly. He's kind of alluding to the fact that she's somehow responsible for Mark's death, right? Why else would he need to protect her? Like, that seems... He's basically putting the blame all on her.
Yeah, without specifically saying, like, she killed him.
Yeah, so it's either he is being honest and he's protecting her with his story, or he regrets saying what he said because now he's getting taken away. And he's like, oh, fuck, why did I say that?
Well, right? Exactly, yeah.
So when the pair get to the police station, they're both put in separate rooms while investigators talk to them. And both Rahul and Taylor seem pretty closed off to the police.
Yeah, because no one wants to spill the beans.
Exactly. They're being confronted about a freaking death, a murder. So, of course, they're pretty closed off.
Yeah. They do not want to incriminate themselves, Beverly.
Despite Rahul basically already admitted and has recanted at this point, but whatever.
Don't make it worse.
Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. Okay. So while police are talking to the couple at the station, investigators are at the apartment collecting evidence from the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
And what they notice was that they have 3 different images of Taylor wearing 3 different outfits between the time of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And they notice that every outfit has bloodstains on them. So the first outfit was her in this little red or pink dress that she was seen wearing that night. Then her second outfit is what she was wearing when she answered the door and sat in the hallway. She was in a t-shirt and what looks like red underwear. And then the third outfit that she was wearing at the police station, where she's in a different t-shirt and a pair of shorts. So this brought up a couple questions for investigators. Number 1 being, how do all of these clothes have blood on them?
Yeah.
Right? And then the second being, like, when did she change from being in the hallway? And the third being, if she was as drunk as she's claiming to be, how did she have the wherewithal to change outfits before going to the police station?
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It could mean absolutely nothing, but, like, why would you think to change your clothes before going to the police station?
Yeah, after, like, just witnessing something crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit suspicious and weird.
Yeah.
But ultimately doesn't really implicate guilt. I mean, they are wondering how blood got on all of it. Like, maybe it was on the floor in the bedroom where the murder happened. So it could have gotten just, like...
splattered on there.
Splattered.
Maybe she just doesn't put her clothes away.
Yeah, like you.
Maybe there's a daunting
big pile of clothes on the bed that are clean.
It's like, not my clean clothes.
You know, you never know. So obviously caused a little bit of suspicion from the police officers, but ultimately doesn't implicate her guilt in the crime.
Just makes them kind of wonder.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
What's going on with you?
And some of the other evidence they found was Mark's blood in Taylor's hand on her shirt, and there was also a blood smudge on the wall by Mark's body. They also found one of Taylor's contact lenses stuck to the leather label on the back pocket of Mark's jeans.
What?
Right? Just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then they also saw that on the knife that had been used to stab Mark, it was sitting beside Mark on the floor and had Taylor's hair on it. So this is the evidence that related to Taylor. However, it doesn't feel very incriminating or like it's anything but circumstantial at the most. Possibly because there's a lot of reasonable explanations as to why that evidence was present. Like, for example, the blood on Taylor could have gotten on her when she was consoling Rahul in the 911 call where he's like, get off me. Like, it could have had transferred.
Absolutely.
So that's a reasonable explanation as to why she had that blood on her. Then the contact lens, I mean, who doesn't lose contact lenses? And they could be on the ground somewhere.
And it's
like
her own house.
Yeah, it could have popped out of her eye. Maybe late at night she took it out and it's on the ground. And that's why it was on Mark's body.
Yeah.
And
like
then
he
again,
just could have landed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
like, ooh, my eyeball was under your butt.
Yeah.
Because I killed you.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I probably just like lost my contact lens and you just so happened to
find it for me. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the hair on the knife. I mean, we lose how many hairs a day?
So many.
Yeah. So that's just, to me, that's just whatever. So there's nothing really truly incriminating about that evidence or alluding to that she was responsible for this crime, right?
Like the police look at it and it's like, okay, we need to take this into consideration.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really add up to her that she was the one who killed Mark.
Exactly.
Right.
So there's that. And although the evidence shows that something terrible has happened, like a man is dead, detectives virtually realize that there's not one piece of evidence that definitively points towards either Rahul or Taylor. And what makes this investigation even more complicated was that Rahul and Taylor's DNA is all over their own apartment because, they live there. So, of course, it's hard to decipher what really is evidence and what isn't.
Yeah, like what just came from them living in their apartment.
Yeah, like is Taylor's DNA on the knife? Is Rahul's? Makes sense.
Yeah, is her hair there because she
brushed her hair in her room?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like, it's tough, right?
Absolutely.
However, there is one piece of evidence that gives the investigators some insight into what could have happened. So they find one particular stab wound that is insanely intriguing to them. One.
Ooh.
Okay, so it shows that Mark was stabbed in the back.
Oh.
And the stab wound was 7 inches deep, Becky.
And 7 inches is a lot.
Nah, no, it's just average. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, but this wound, okay, it was so aggressive and deep that it actually chipped a bone. And so investigators found it highly unlikely that Taylor, who was a 5-foot, 100-pound girl, could cause that much force and damage.
That is a very good point, actually.
Yeah, right?
Not that I have ever stabbed anyone, but I could imagine it is not the easiest to do with all the different bits and pieces of our bodies, such as bone, ligaments, cartilage, tendons, all that stuff. Like, have you ever tried to cut through a turkey?
Yeah, and I have failed, Becky.
Yeah, so that is a very
good point.
Very good point.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that kind of makes investigators suspect Rahul, right? And another piece of evidence that gets added into this mix that makes them suspect Rahul even further is that they had actually talked with a woman who had an ex-girlfriend who knew Rahul and said that he was a totally different person when he was drinking. He struck fear into her friend and said that her roommates would not allow Rahul to stay over when he was drinking because they did not feel safe. So this makes investigators start thinking that maybe Rahul snapped for some reason and killed Mark, which is exactly kind of what Rahul said initially, that he was jealous, thought that Taylor was cheating on him with Mark, and that he killed him.
Yeah, and he was covered in blood.
Covered. And a lot more than Taylor. Taylor had some, like, what looked to be transferred blood from maybe, like, again, touching Rahul in that moment.
Yeah.
But Rahul had a significant amount of more blood on him.
Yeah.
Because, he was right near the body, right? And holding him, so.
It's like circumstantial stuff that's definitely strongly pointing to Rahul.
Exactly. So Another little tidbit of information that puts a really sinister spin on this whole evening was text messages that Mark sent in the early morning when he was at their apartment.
Oh my God.
Oh my God is right.
I hope you have them for me, Bev, because I love a good hidden text.
I do. Okay, so when investigators actually had gone through Mark's phone, they found these texts that are obviously questionable and concerning. And the first one is that at 2:01 a.m., he writes, "My night is becoming historically awkward."
That's like right after they got to the apartment.
Yeah.
Ooh, historically awkward.
I know, that is bad. And then also, we know that the tension between the couple is really high.
Yeah. Could it be bubbling over?
Yes, exactly. Could it be? And then at 2:19 a.m., Mark texts, "I'm about to cut my hand off so I can leave in the ambulance." Which is one, just fucking sad because he does.
That's like a terrible foreshadow.
I know. Terrible, right?
Ooh, oh God.
But then in his final message that they find at 2:55 a.m., a whole hour later, he texts, "Awake? ? I need help."
Oh my God, like the pit in my stomach is unreal hearing that.
I know.
I wish he texted with more detail.
I know.
Ugh,
can you tell us what happened? But if you've ever been the third wheel to a couple fight, and maybe it's involving you, and maybe some accusations of cheating, it could be fucking awkward. You're forced to defend yourself, and maybe it's getting a little bit like way too aggressive for, you know, what's happening. And then when you think of the biggest wound that Mark has is in his fucking back, maybe he was in danger and things were getting heated, and like turns his back and like,
oh, bam.
Yeah. Like he knew something bad was going to happen, and then it did, and like to his back.
So his friend stabbed him right in the freaking back.
Like, what the fuck? That takes stabbing someone in the back to a fucking dark level.
You know, I have to say, anytime someone does, like, in a literal context, get stabbed in the back, is so annoying.
In a literal context?
Yeah, like physical.
Like stabby,
yeah,
actually.
Stabby.
Okay.
Is so annoying to me because I'm like, if you're going to kill someone, don't be a coward about it.
Yeah.
Like stab them in the front.
Yeah.
Or
give them a chance to defend themselves at least. Like, it just seems, it is so cowardly,
like, that
right?
shit pisses
it's
me off.
Yeah.
Don't
no one likes a coward.
Baby. Yeah.
Totally, Becky. Totally. So now they have minimal evidence against Taylor, pretty significant evidence pointing towards Rahul, and they have these creepy ass texts that are alluding to something and foreshadowing that something terrible is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now going to talk about kind of what happens at the police station and what is said. So back at the station, Rahul and Taylor start opening up a bit to investigators. However, it doesn't really clear anything up. And when detectives asked Taylor about the night, she told them the reason why Mark came home with them was so he could help her explain the whole flirting situation at the bar to Rahul. So maybe he wouldn't get so mad or upset with her.
That would explain the historical awkward night.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But once they went back to the apartment and had more drinks, Taylor tells detectives she was too drunk and she can't remember what happened. But the last thing that she does remember was something about a video game, and then Rahul telling her to call 911. But that's it.
That's a very fractured memory.
Yeah. And oddly enough, Taylor tells investigators that she hopes that they could fill her in on what happened. And police are kind of like, they're put off by this. They're like, no, miss, like, you're supposed to tell us what the fuck happened.
You were there.
Like, we weren't. But when I hear her say this, I think maybe she was way too drunk, blacked out, and has that fragmented memory of what happened.
That is definitely possible.
And we all know when you're blackout, oh my God, you are next level. Like, you have no control. And like, I have some pretty horrible stories of when I was blackout drunk. Like, I was a freaking psycho. You know? Bad things happen.
Yeah.
So maybe Mark is in the middle of this like blackout fight that's occurring
Yeah. And one point, like, we know how alcohol affects our bodies, right?
Yeah.
And you take these two men,
Mm-hmm.
and if Taylor is drinking with them, what are the odds that she's kind of keeping pace with them? She's probably like way more hammered than the rest of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, not out of the question that she literally only remembers small little tidbits once they get back to the apartment.
Exactly. And it could also explain why she was so confused and being like, I don't know, and kind of like annoyed with the questioning. Like, I literally have no idea what the fuck happened. Like, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what that is. So investigators during this interview eventually tell Taylor that Mark is dead, and Taylor responds with a confused, what? She seems confused, but at the same time, it does come across as like not very genuine.
Right.
So she asks them how he died, and investigators tell her he was stabbed. And Taylor is adamant that she doesn't remember this happening, but she tells them that she doesn't think she could have physically stabbed Mark, and she doesn't think that's even in her character to do something like that. So investigators try to see if she has a motive to hurt Mark.
Right.
And investigators ask her, like, did he try to rape you? And ever so calmly, Taylor responds with, I don't remember anything.
Literally nothing.
So could she be telling the truth?
It's possible.
It is possible. And the officers already suspected that she wouldn't be capable of applying as much force as was needed to make that stab wound in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also kind of saying the same thing, like, I don't think I would be capable of doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I'm strong enough. Especially Mark's like a bigger guy than her. She's tiny, right? Like, it would make sense that she wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, he had his wherewithal enough to be texting clearly. So you do wonder, right?
Yeah, she could be like 100% telling the truth, and that's a logical thought. Like, I don't think I could have even done that physically. Yeah. Or, you know, the police have to decipher at that point, is that what happened, or did her and Rahul tag team him?
Yeah. They have to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
So with all of this information coming at her about the death of her friend, she just kind of sat there on the couch, propping her head up on her hand, not really showing any emotion. And,
damn.
You know, like, so her reaction is a little underwhelming for such an egregious thing that happened to somebody she knew and was with that night.
Yeah, I can assure you, Bev, if I just found that out, whether I remember or not,
I'd be crying.
I'd be crying.
I'd be upset.
Yeah.
I'd be, like, mortified, right?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't just sit there and be like, huh, that's crazy.
He's dead? What? Oh. Yeah, that's probably why it comes across as just so not genuine.
Yeah.
Because she's just underwhelmingly, like...
She's, like, non-reactive.
Yeah, so it's just, like, weird. So we can obviously maybe chalk it up to her just being completely drunk and shocked.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, like, if I found that out, I think I would have a bigger reaction. But, again, with people's reactions to things that happen, we all react in different ways. So her reaction and everything, although it's a little off-putting and weird, it's not really...
It could just be who she is.
It could just be who she is, right? So I don't want to make any accusation about her guilt or innocence, because really with what we've heard already, we just really don't have any clue. It's a little confusing.
Absolutely. But weird as shit. Weird as shit. I can say that for sure.
Yeah. Weird as shit. I don't know, Becky, is shit weird?
It can be.
Isn't that so odd? We say these weird fucking things like...
Weird as shit?
Happy as shit. People say that. Like, why is shit happy? I don't know. It's just funny.
I'm sure you could find a reason, but like...
Insert blank as shit here. I'm mad as shit.
I've said that.
I have too. Shit is like, has all different types of emotions, functions.
I read this thing, the reason why the English language is so hard to learn is because you can insert different words at any given moment and have them mean completely different things.
Yeah.
Like, the shit has hit the fan.
Yeah. See it, different function.
Shit. What the shit? Shit balls. You know?
Yeah. So many different ways to use the word shit.
Yeah.
None of which mean the literal meaning of shit.
Yeah, like, you're the shit.
You're the shit. Yeah. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Good thing.
So,
fucking weird.
Fucking weird.
Fucking weird as shit. So anyways, back to this case. Because the investigators are not really making much headway with their questioning with Taylor, they actually take a different approach. And they make the decision to allow Taylor and Rahul to be put in the interrogation room together to see if they slip up and start talking about the night together.
Right. Ooh, sneaky. I love it.
I know.
Yes.
I love listening to all the investigators' techniques.
I know, right?
It's so cool to hear it all.
I love tricking people.
Oh.
Into getting the right information out.
Watch out. What a manipulative bitch. No,
haha, I caught you. You're an idiot for falling for that. You're dumb as shit. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So in this interrogation with the two of them, Taylor actually sticks with what she said to investigators, that she doesn't remember anything. And she also mentioned if by chance that she had done something, she would not let Rahul take the fall.
Oh, she actually sounds so nice.
Yeah, like caring enough to not let Rahul take a fall for something he may or like he didn't do.
Yeah.
But she's also kind of just like, if I did something, like I wouldn't want you to take the fall. Like it's a kind gesture, but again, she's not implicating her guilt at all. And she's also being very consistent, which is, to me, indicates truth.
I think so too, yes.
Yeah. So now we're going to go to Rahul's investigation with the police. And when Rahul first spoke with investigators, he told them that Mark had come over not to back up Taylor, but to actually hang out and keep the party going. Rahul initially tells investigators that he has no idea what happened between Mark and Taylor, why Mark was in the bedroom, or how he got stabbed. Rahul pled his case by saying if I wanted to stab Mark, he would remember every detail of it. Which, I mean, that's a weird thing to say. Just because, I don't know, it's like, do you want to remember every detail of something that, like, you find joy in? Or, like, would it be so traumatizing that you would remember everything? I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing to me to say.
Yeah.
I find it as a weird thing.
But you know what? I do kind of see what he's saying as well. Because if I did something really horrendous, you would think that you would remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
You would think that. And I think that's probably where he's coming from.
Yeah. So the investigators ask him, how do you know you didn't stab him if you don't remember? So it's just like, if you don't remember what happened, how do you know whether you did or didn't?
Exactly.
So he also tells detectives that when he was alerted of the situation, he yelled at Taylor to call 911. And he said for some reason, Taylor seemed like she kind of hesitated to call for help. So again, he is trying to allude to the fact that Taylor was responsible. Like, he did it in the police car, and now he's doing it again.
Mm-hmm. Like, low-key, under the radar, blaming her.
Yeah, and I find this off-putting and annoying because Taylor didn't implicate him once. She just was like, I don't know, I'm confused. But she didn't throw him under the bus, and the fact that he's doing that, it does make me feel like he's trying to put the investigators in a different direction and say, like, don't look at me, don't look at me. Yeah. Whereas, like, Taylor's just, like, being more forthright about the fact that she doesn't know. So it kind of seems like, to me, that's, like, someone who's guilty trying to, like,
change that narrative
and, like, take the pressure off of themselves.
Yeah, it totally does.
So after investigators let Rahul and Taylor speak, Rahul's story starts to mold and change a bit. Again, now a lack of consistency with his story. Mm-hmm. Again, like, not good.
Exactly.
So once he realizes that Taylor doesn't remember anything, he sees his opportunity to yet again throw her under the fucking bus. He tells detectives that when the trio got to the apartment, he noticed something was going on with Taylor and Mark. They seemed like they were getting along well, and their body language was proving to be a little bit more friendly. But when Rahul noticed this, he kind of turned a blind eye and just did his own thing. Yeah, fucking right, right?
Yeah.
He eventually heard Taylor start screaming, and he turned around and Mark was on the ground bleeding.
Convenient there, Rahul. Convenient story.
Yeah, and he says he ran over to Mark at this point, screamed at Taylor to call 911. He's literally saying Taylor did it.
Yeah.
Taylor was in the room with Mark. I was off doing my own thing. And all of a sudden he's dead. Oh my God. So he is totally blaming her.
And also, what guy would let his girlfriend in his own apartment be hanging out in a bedroom alone with another guy, wasted at like, what, 2 a.m. sometime?
Yeah.
As
I mean,
if.
like, they would probably at least be monitoring it. Like, not that he has control over her, but like, he probably just wouldn't be like, yeah, go have fun in the bedroom, guys. See ya.
Yeah, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, especially when he's already feeling like she's flirting with his friends. Like, I just don't see a guy not monitoring the situation.
And also, what woman would be so bold to do that in that scenario?
Yeah, no doubt. It is a little bit suspicious and it doesn't really make sense. So Rahul also tells investigators that he found out that Taylor and Mark may have been going out or something behind his back. And when the cops learn of this, it's pretty clear to them that Rahul now has a motive of jealousy.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, if he had found out that Taylor and Mark had been going out or something behind his back, again, why would he just be like, oh yeah, go in that room? Like you said, I'd
be watching them like a fucking hawk.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, are you? Yeah, so definitely something we've noticed from the start is that he's jealous. And funny enough, what he's saying, even though he's implicating Taylor, it does the exact opposite. Because it's like when we first saw you in the apartment, man, you said you were jealous. They were cheating on you. You killed him. So everything's kind of pointing towards Rahul, and not just in a like a weird, like non-convincing kind of way. It's kind of like you were jealous as fuck and you killed your friend.
Yeah.
In a fucking rage.
Right.
And then probably regretted it.
And I wonder, based on Mark's text, Bevy, I wonder if Taylor and Rahul got in a fight.
Yeah.
And then Mark was trying to console Taylor. Because how were they in the bedroom?
I don't know, but like,
were they banging? Or was he just being like, oh yeah, it's okay, consoling her on a drunken night?
Or maybe Rahul and Taylor were in the bedroom fighting and Mark had like stepped in. Like, there's a lot of reasons. Like, it's a smaller apartment, I'm sure. Like,
oh, yeah.
There's only a couple places you could be. It's late at night. Like, maybe they were trying to go to bed. Like, there's a lot of reasons. I don't want to like implicate or say or allude to the fact that they actually were cheating, because like, who fucking knows? But like, why were they in the bedroom? Like, what was going on? Yeah, it's all confusing.
Yeah.
So another little tidbit here is that when Rahul called his dad from jail, Rahul's father had asked what happened. Rahul says that Mark and him got into a fight, and Mark tried to get a knife, and then he got the knife from Mark.
Oh.
Yeah. So to me, I just think this is like a lie that makes him look good, solely because of Mark's text messages. Like, awake, I need help. Like, he probably noticed that Rahul was getting aggressive towards him.
Yeah.
You know?
He saw it going downhill.
Yeah, and he's wanting to leave. Like, he's not getting this knife or whatever. Like, he's wanting to leave. And he gets stabbed in the fucking back.
I was just going to say that. Like, how can he be completely aware that Rahul has a knife and turn his back to him?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
No one does that.
That's just a recipe for disaster. So for me, yeah, we're looking at all this evidence and we're thinking Rahul is guilty.
Yeah.
And the police and investigators thought the same thing, and he was charged with murder, Becky.
Damn straight he was.
That's right.
Yeah.
So going into trial, Rahul continues to fabricate a complete asinine fucking story full of fucking bullshit. And he claims he had fallen, hit his head, and knocked himself out. And when he awoke, he saw what his girlfriend had done. There was blood all over. Which, what the fuck? Okay.
Sure, let's say that happened.
Sure. So this is, we can say it, he's full of shit. And I just can't handle it. I also, just hearing that he had fallen, hit his head, and knocked himself out. You know what's interesting about the fact that Rahul like had woken up when they started administering first aid or whatever? I just thought he probably like didn't know what the fuck else to do, and in a random attempt to make himself look less guilty, he just like laid down beside him pretending to be unconscious, and then all of a sudden just like came to.
You know, I've definitely pretended to be asleep not to talk to people before myself, so
yeah, so I don't know, it just makes me feel like it was like totally fake and calculated.
Yeah.
Especially when he's like, oh, he claims he had fallen, hit his head, and knocked himself out. Like, I just think like
conveniently right beside Mark.
Yeah, it's just
what are you
weird.
Like fucking head banging and being like, oh, I need to just just pass out. And like, no, it didn't happen like that.
Yeah, probably not, because I don't even know what the fuck you just said. But yeah, it probably didn't happen like that. I feel like he just like calmly laid down beside him and waited for the officers to arrive. Are they here yet? One eye open. Just like, oh my God. Okay. So the court documents actually note that when the police had first arrived on scene and that they had talked to Rahul, he told police exactly what we had mentioned, that I walked in on them cheating and I killed my buddy.
Right.
Which I just don't even think is probably accurate. I mean, like,
it just seems too bold to do when the guy's in the next room.
And even if he was, it's no fucking excuse to kill somebody, but whatever.
Yeah, either way.
So this statement was part of the one he recanted and said that he was just trying to protect Taylor, which is odd because if you're trying to protect Taylor, why are you blaming her over and over and over again after that?
Yeah, your version of protection is a little janky.
Yeah, it's bullshit. So Taylor Gould was on the stand for 2 days.
Whoa.
And she remained adamant the whole time that she had no memory of what happened that night. And she even stated to Rahul that if she did it, she deserves to go to jail. But she had no reason to have done it. And not once did she ever throw her boyfriend under the bus.
Yeah.
Right? She's just saying, like, I don't think it was me. And the craziest thing is that the motive matters.
Yes, it does.
Motive matters. If there's no motive, like, it doesn't really make sense unless the person's just a freaking psychopath. And even then, their motive is that they're a fucking psychopath, you know? But Rahul did have a huge motive. So once the jury sat through the trial, they were dismissed and deliberated for only 4.5 hours.
Only?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which we know is
not long.
Not good for Rahul.
Yeah.
And yeah, they found Rahul Gupta guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Which to me, also, the first-degree murder is wild. I don't even understand, because I don't think he went out that night, came home planning to murder, but maybe because he went and like got the knife. At that point, that's a plan, right?
I think I've heard that, where it's like it could be 30 seconds before you kill someone, but the fact that you go out of your way to like grab something or do something that results in that death counts as first degree.
And obviously that's what the jury thought as well. So at this point in time, Becky, Rahul has used up all of his appeals and he's going to remain in jail for the rest of his life. While Taylor Gould never shared any involvement to Mark's murder, and she has remained out of the spotlight and is living a rather normal life.
I would too.
I'm partly thinking her not remembering, even though what she did know and found out later was traumatizing. Like, it would be a lot more traumatizing to see your boyfriend stab a man 5 times and in the back and what have you.
Oh, so, yeah. It's like a blessing she doesn't remember.
It is a blessing she doesn't remember.
She doesn't have to live with that full nightmare.
Yeah.
That image
in your brain forever.
Her brain.
Totally. So it's a pretty sad story. Mark Waugh was totally innocent in all of this. And I don't know. It's sad. Rahul's a fucker.
Yeah. An innocent celebration turns into literally a night of horror.
Literally stabbing your friend in the back.
It just shows like how quickly things can change.
Yeah.
And you might never suspect it, but just like, you know, if you see a couple fighting, don't go home with them. Yeah. Or leave right away.
Yeah.
Not that it's in any way Mark's fault.
No, but like,
as a cautionary tale,
leave.
Use that and leave.
Yeah. So that's the case of Mark Waugh and him being stabbed in the fucking back by Rahul Gupta.
By his best friend. Well, Bev, thanks for sharing that with me.
Thanks for listening.